Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? I hear the Thursday, April 26, 2022. Roland Martin Unfiltered, broadcasting live from Las Vegas for the National Association of Broadcasters. We're streaming live, of course, on the Black Star Network. The name of the officer who killed a Congolese immigrant in Grand Rapids, Michigan, his name has been released by the police department. We'll tell you who he is and show his face. Also, the first black man to serve on the presidential security detail has received a pardon, along with 70 plus others, by President Joe Biden. The California ACLU, they have filed a lawsuit against a school district claiming proposed school closures are discriminatory against black and brown students. Folks, not only did Xavier University of Louisiana become the first HBCU cheer squad to win a national championship, they received the highest point total ever in NAIA National Championship history. We'll talk with the coach and some of the national champion members. Also, folks, in tonight's Marketplace segment, a black undergarment company that's ready to fit everyone. And in our in memoriam, a longtime saxophonist for Earth, Wind & Fire has passed away. We'll tell you all of that. Folks, it's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered, the Black Star Network. Let's go.
Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now. Martin.
Christopher Scher, that is the name of the officer in Grand Rapids, Michigan, who shot and killed Congolese immigrant Patrick Lyoya during 3 weeks ago in a traffic stop. Shot him in the back of the head. Grand Rapids Chief Eric Winstrom had declined to name the officer immediately after the incident, but changed his mind late Monday evening. Here's the statement explaining why. In the interest of transparency, to reduce ongoing speculation and to avoid further confusion, I'm confirming the name already publicly circulating, Christopher Scher, as the officer involved in the April 4th officer-involved shooting. Beginning this week, as required by law, the Grand Rapids Police Department will be releasing documents in response to requests made under the Freedom of Information Act relative to this incident. Any further requests for documents must also be made through a FOIA request and will be provided via the FOIA process as legally allowable. Officer Scher remains on administrative leave, stripped of his police powers, until the conclusions of the Michigan State Police investigation into the potential criminal charges and the completion of GRPD's internal affairs investigation to determine whether all applicable departmental policies were followed. Now, Scher has been a Grand Rapids police officer since 2015. Let's bring in my panel, Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA, Lauren Victoria Burke, writer for the NNPA and the GRIO, Demario Solomon Simmons, civil rights attorney and founder of Justice for Greenwood. Glad to have all three of you here. Lauren, I'm going to start with you first. I never understand this whole idea that an officer's name can't get released.
I agree.
Publicly paid by the taxpayers.
Right.
Publicly paid by the taxpayer. And so this, oh no, we can't release that. Oh, but they can release the records of the person involved. They can release how many times they've been arrested. They can release their whole entire history. But this is the kind of thing where police get protection from the system.
No, that's absolutely right. I agree with that. It's a public. You're basically a part of the government. We see it all the time where people's mugshots get released, right? This is before we know whether the person is guilty or innocent of anything. And that person's mugshot is just out there in public view. So I'm not sure why. I mean, we do know why. The police are almost in a special class in the United States. They're treated like a special group that needs to be protected. But I would agree with you on that. I do think, I'm not sure why, all this protection, all this stress out over the name coming out. Also, too, I mean, I think part of this is the sort of not wanting to have people looking into this officer's history, which is clearly going to be done now. And that can be done in a public way now because people know that officer's name, which you, of course, can't do when you don't know that officer's name. I suspect that's actually the real reason as to why some of these departments do not want to release the names of officers when they're involved in a shooting like this.
I mean, it's just utterly crazy to me, Mustafa, that this happens and we give this level of protection to the police. Again, as if they're in this special class. They are paid by taxpayers. They are responsive to taxpayers.
Exactly. They should actually be held to a higher standard. So that means that when these types of incidents happen, the information should be automatically put out there, because if there's not transparency, then folks are automatically going to think that you're hiding something, that you're trying to protect someone in a different way than you would if it was someone who was not a part of law enforcement. So, we have to change that dynamic. And his name is out there, as Lauren shared, and now folks will be able to figure out if he's had previous infractions.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mustafa, go ahead.
Yeah, so, with all that being said, once again, we got to have more transparency. We also see, for those who've been following this story in the news, that you have, they're now sort of sharing a narrative about his history, the work that he's done, whether in Africa or other places, to try and make sure that he's seen in the best light, and maybe so that folks may not dig as deeply. But we know that there are folks who are definitely going to make sure that the light of day and the truth about whom this individual is will be put out there, whether good or bad.
This is one of the things that we talked about last week, DeMario. Again, the level of protection that is provided to police officers, the fact that the shooting took place 3 weeks ago, and now we're now hearing and seeing who this officer is.
It took 3 weeks for this to happen, and I like what you stated earlier. And what Mustafa stated, these people are not in a special class, and they should be held to a higher level. They are public employees. And it does not matter what this individual's background is and how many black babies he's adopted or how many times he went to the inner city to give out free turkeys. The fact of the matter is that he was on top of an unarmed individual and executed him, shot him in the back of the head, period, point blank. That is absolutely something that someone should go to prison for. He should be fired already immediately. It's a particular crime, and we need to deal deeper into that police department to understand what's going on with a person like that can actually be on the force. What type of background does he have in policing that this person can be on the force? So I'm looking forward to getting more information. The bad thing is, and this is what I tell all my clients, and anytime I'm talking about this issue, regardless of what accountability that we bring towards that officer and that police department, that young 26-year-old man's life was taken, and that's the real tragedy here.
Indeed, that is constantly an issue. And again, I just keep telling people this goes in line with the kind of special protections that they provide to police officers, and that simply is a fundamental problem. Folks, let's talk about this here. Vice President Kamala Harris has tested positive for COVID. The White House announced that she has tested positive. It's not showing any symptoms. It's going to be working from the residence. This lets people know that COVID is still real. Remember, it was a few weeks ago that her husband, the second gentleman that Doug Emhoff, that he contracted COVID. And now it is Vice President Kamala Harris herself who is testing positive for COVID. And so, again, I hope people realize that we can't play games with this. That is still real. Luckily, she is double vaccinated, got a booster as well, and has full protection. I tell you, it's interesting, Lauren. I posted a photo of me flying, goggles on, double mask, and all these crazy-ass right-wing white conservatives posted saying, "Oh, you're a hero. Oh, look at you." And I have all these idiots, they've been tweeting me for a week. "Oh, now you've already had COVID once, so therefore you have natural immunity." As if they never heard of these breakthrough cases or people have actually gotten COVID twice.
Yeah, everybody's a medical expert. Everybody's a doctor. It's amazing how, we could have 1 million people die over a 2.5-year period. And people get so crazy in their feelings about somebody else wearing a mask on an airplane, a big enclosed space that circulates the same air. I just can't understand that. Why are we having these debates? Why are we talking about this after 1 million people are dead? It's embarrassing. It's crazy. And it's amazing how, and then, we'll probably end up talking about Twitter later, but I think so much of what drives this is social media and people's endless narcissistic need to be commenting on everybody's life and everything and every piece of synapse that comes to their head about everything. But why are you caring about what somebody else is doing on an airplane with their mask? It's like, mind your business. Like, why is that a thing? It's amazing.
And the thing here that I made clear to DeMario, and I said, if y'all don't like it, y'all all can kiss my ass. I mean, these people are utterly idiotic. I mean, they've been sending me nasty tweets. What the hell is wrong with you? It's about freedom. Why you should never leave the house. I'm like, y'all have got to be some of the dumbest people. And then I said, and I'm talking about that Jack whatever the hell his name, the dude behind the whole Pizzagate deal, or that dumbass Ben Shapiro, dumbass Tucker Carlson, and I could go on and on, dumbass Steve Deese. And I said, did all y'all forget the 5 conservative radio talk show hosts who are dead of COVID? All those folks. And so I keep, matter of fact, when I was flying from Dallas to Las Vegas, there are 20 people in first class, 18 white, 2 black. It was 2 people wearing a face mask. The 2 black people, me and this sister.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Everywhere I go here, I'm in Oklahoma, they never wanted to wear masks anyway. Usually I'm the only person, or me and my wife, we're the only people with a mask on. But listen, I think we have to always remember what Dr. Nellie Fuller said, that if you don't understand white supremacy, everything else will only confuse you. And why that's important in this discussion, when we're talking about COVID, the sister stated, why people, 1 million people can die, no one cares. I truly believe that once it became clear that black people were dying at the fastest rate, that at that point, America said, we don't give a damn. We want these Negroes to be dead anyway. And at that point, it turned from being a true medical whatever to being a political issue. And these Negroes, we don't care if they die. And so I believe that we must keep that in mind. This country truly does not want us to be successful, absolutely hates the fact that we are alive, and anything that's going to degrade us, they're okay with it. It's the same thing across not one health care for everyone. Well, black folks going to get it. We don't want it. Same thing about reducing student loan debt. Well, black folks going to benefit. We don't want it. You go down the list one by one by one by one. And I think that's a big deal when it comes to COVID.
Well, these are the same right-wing nuts who deny climate change, who say it doesn't exist. And I made it clear, I ain't listened to none of you fools about anything dealing with COVID. And if y'all white folks want to run out here and you want to get COVID and get sick, and the bottom line is we don't know how COVID, the long-term impacts on our brain, on our heart. I can't stand the fact that I got it in December, and I damn sure not trying to get it again.
Roland, I just want to say, too, when back when Trump came to Tulsa back in 2020 and Herman Cain came here, and I don't want to laugh, but Herman Cain came here and they made a big deal of having all these black folks there not wearing a mask. And Herman Cain died from COVID, and they were tweeting out on his Twitter the same day talking against masks and talking against COVID. And not one conservative, one white person, one white Trump, nobody said anything about Herman Cain sacrificing his life to be able to show that there's freedom and not wearing your mask. So you got to keep that in mind. These people don't care about life at all, and in particular if it's black life. So they want you not to have your mask on, Roland. They would love to see you get rid of and take off your great show that you have every day informing and empowering our community.
And you're absolutely right. They were sitting here, Herman Cain, dead, and Phil Valentine, dead, Mustafa. We can go down the line. And these folks still sitting here being dumb acting as if this is no big deal. And guess what? It's their families that regret it. How about that fool in Texas who was leading marches and protests against mandates, against masks, 3 kids, wife pregnant, his dumb ass get COVID, and he did.
You know, we might be done with COVID, but COVID's not done with us. I've had 2 friends. They're both in their 30s. One's in their early 30s. One's in their mid-30s who got COVID in the last 24 hours. Or they got that they found out that they had it in the last 24 hours. So, I mean, it's still real. And it still disproportionately impacts our communities, but it impacts all communities. And for folks not to continue to take it serious and do the basics. That's the thing that's most frustrating, is that there are basic steps you can do to protect yourself, or to at least, do what you can to minimize the possibility of you getting, impacted by it. And folks won't even do that. And as it was said before, it's turned into a political issue instead of a healthcare issue. And we're going to continue to lose lives, and we're going to continue to get folks sick until we get serious about what the science says and not what Twitter says or Instagram says or Facebook says.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy. All right, folks, got to go to a break. We come back. We'll talk the first African-American Secret Service agent on the presidential detail, pardoned by President Joe Biden. We'll tell you about the other pardons as well. Folks, you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network, live from Las Vegas. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, y'all. We should easily, in the first hour of the show, exceed 1,000 likes. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button, hit the share button as well. If you're watching on the Black Star Network, love to see your comments. Download the Black Star Network app. Our goal is to get 50,000 downloads by May 1st. Only a few days left. Please download to Android phone, Apple phone, Android TV, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Also, please join our Bring the Funk fan club, where all of your dollars make it possible us to do what we do. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, financial literacy. Without it, wealth is just a pipe dream. And yet, half of our schools in this country don't even teach it to our kids. You're going to hear from a woman who's determined to change all that, not only here, but around the world.
World of Money is the leading provider of immersive financial education for children ages 7 to 18. We provide 120 online and classroom hours of financial education.
That's right here on Get Wealthy on Black Star Network.
This week on The Black Table with me, Greg Carr, reparations. Is it finally time? 2 of the country's foremost authorities on the subject will join me to try to answer that very question. A powerful installment of The Black Table with me, Greg Carr, right here, only on the Black Star Network.
You want me to do something crazy, but I don't know what to do. I'd rather just sit here.
Hi, this is Cheryl Lee Ralph, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, could it be any other way? Really? It's Roland Martin.
Let's go. All right, folks. President Joe Biden grants clemency to 78 people today, with 3 receiving pardons. One person receiving a presidential pardon is 86-year-old Abraham Bolden. He lives in Chicago. He's the first black Secret Service agent to have a presidential detail to serve, to be on a presidential detail. This took place, of course, during the Kennedy administration. In 1964, Bolden was convicted of attempting to sell a copy of a Secret Service file. He has maintained his innocence for decades. The other 2 pardons and 75 commutations are for nonviolent drug offenders serving long sentences. President Joe Biden says there are new job training measures and grants to help people re-enter society. Lauren, I need to understand, okay, this is now 15th month of Biden presidencies. Why taking so long? Okay, I guess 78. I mean, Jesus, use your power.
Yeah, I think that he'll probably accelerate that. I really think that what happened with Joe Biden is that when he first came into office, he was hit with the COVID stuff. And the COVID thing, the American Rescue Act, all that stuff, they just were totally immersed in that. And I just think they're now getting around to figuring out, oh, that's right, he can pardon a bunch of people. I mean, even in just doing this one set of pardons is better than the entire set that Trump had, because if you remember, it was all, sort of celebrity and political signaling that Trump was doing with the pardon power. So I think you probably, if the pardon office is sort of a weird, mysterious thing a little bit, but I think once they get going, they're probably going to set some record and do a little bit of what we've seen with judges, which is really sort of set a few records and set a few markers that we haven't seen before.
And the bottom line here, DeMario, I mean, this is the power of a president. And the reality is, when you got that power, use your power.
Well, I'm a broken record. I say it almost every week. We need the people that we elect, the so-called Democrats who say they so-called treat us as their base, to do what they can do and do it quickly and do it as fast as possible in the most effective manner. So, yes, I'm glad to see these 78. Glad to see this brother. I never heard of his case until got the materials for you guys this morning. But we need so much more and so much faster. And yeah, they're breaking records on the judges, but they need to go faster. They need to go even and do more. We have to have tremendous gains when we put Democrats in office. That's the only choice we have, Democrat or Republican, unfortunately. Almost two sides of the same coin, but we do know the Democrats can do a little bit more for us, but they don't do as much as they possibly can. Like, they could do more. That's the issue. And so, yes, 78 is cool, but we have so many people rotting in jail. Right now, in my opinion, everyone that was put in federal prison on an unequal powder cocaine or crack cocaine, those people should be let out of jail. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not for dope dealing and flooding our community with poison, but we know these people were put in jail with disproportionate sentences. So if they have completed their sentence that it would have been if it was powder cocaine, all those people should be let out of jail, in my opinion.
Well, he makes a good point there, Mustafa, because when we look at exactly what happened here, I mean, this nation and its onerous drug laws hurt the black community in a significant way with this whole idea of just throw folks in jail, and lock them up. Now, granted, the president only can issue pardons for federal crimes. Of course, only 10% of those who are in prison are on the federal level. 90% are on the state and county level.
Right.
Well, Trump gave 237 acts of clemency. We should make sure that record is shattered. And I agree with DeMario. I'm one who believes that, if there are folks who are in federal prison because of marijuana charges, and I don't smoke marijuana, but I also understand the disparities that have existed, and folks being locked up. And now you got law enforcement who actually got all the license for these new dispensaries, that we should make sure that those brothers and sisters receive this type of opportunity to be free. And then let's hook them up with those resources that President Biden has talked about, allowing people to re-enter. So let's let them re-enter by creating, new businesses and entrepreneurial opportunities, especially in the areas that actually, since they had expertise in that space, that got them in trouble in the first place. So I'm real clear that the president should be doing more in this space.
This is one of those things that, righting the wrongs of the past. That's important. One of the things that, again, we talk about the First Step Act, that implies there's supposed to be a second step. You have right now, Lauren, conservatives who don't have an appetite for making any changes. Some are still whining and complaining about the First Step Act. Are you seeing anything or hearing anything on Capitol Hill where Democrats are going to try to make some kind of move in this election year before the midterms on a second criminal justice bill?
No, I haven't heard that. I'll be on Capitol Hill tomorrow. What will sort of delay the day tomorrow is Nat'l and Albright's funeral is tomorrow at 2:00. But at any rate, no, in answering your question, I have not heard that. And really, more broadly, I don't really see a strategy coming from the Democratic Party yet for the midterms. I'm trying to figure out exactly what that is. There's a few candidates that seem to want to do the whole routine of finding the magic unicorn conservative voter that's going to somehow magically vote Democrat. We saw a little bit of that from Abigail Spanberger last week, who's in a new district in Virginia, a heavily minority district in Virginia, talking about how defund was a stupid message and effectively repeating what Joe Biden said at the State of the Union, which was to make this big point that, wow, that defund idea was really, really stupid. Well, I'm not sure in a 20% state like Virginia who you're trying to attract, but your number one voting bloc is Black women. And at some point, the Democratic Party needs to actually pretend that matters when they want to win elections. I mean, it's like, do you want to be right with your friends and Jim Carville and these people, or do you want to win an election? And I don't know that they've figured that out yet. So I don't see a strategy yet, but that's nothing new for the Democratic Party, quite frankly. And when it comes to justice reform, they're all over the place because they want to be on the side of cops, but they don't want to really listen to their number one voting bloc and the concerns that they have around policing. So that's a huge problem that has to be figured out.
And again, what you're dealing with is you're dealing with folks on the right, DeMario. Oh, my God, all the crime in America. And so you white Democrats get scared. Oh, my goodness, we got to go hard, on this whole issue. That's what this thing is all response to, when the fact of the matter is this nation still needs to have a massive criminal justice reform because we are locking way too many people up in prison. And the answer to every one of our problems in America is not throw them in the jail and throw away the key.
Once again, Dr. Nellie Fuller said, if we don't understand white supremacy, everything else will confuse us. The 13th Amendment outlawed enslavement, the first section, but the second section allows enslavement for those who committed or convicted of felonies. This is part of the process. This is part of the re-enslavement of Black people, in particular here in America. So the Democrats have shown time and time again that they don't really care about Black folks. Black folks, unfortunately, we're pretty much held hostage. We don't have anywhere else to go. You can't go over to the Republicans. I mean, by the very nature of someone saying they're conservative, what are they trying to conserve? Conserve racism, conserve Jim Crowism, conserve enslavement, conserve redlining. No, thank you. We're smart enough not to want to be over there. So it makes us have a very difficult time here. We have to spend all of our energy trying to force those who we elect to do what's right. It's not easy. It's not even fair. But it's what we have to continue to do. And the last thing I will say about mass incarceration, I think a lot of people don't realize how much money it is for people to make in mass incarceration. So it's not just that this is something that, we're locking too many people up. There are people making millions of dollars off of it. So I used to be a lobbyist for a think tank, a progressive think tank here in Oklahoma. And I got to see firsthand that the lobbyists for the private prisons and look at their contracts. Do you understand that these private prisons get contracts with states that say you have to give us 95% occupancy, 10 plus years, 15 plus years, whatever may be the time, and they have to pay for that regardless if they bring down the prison population? I mean, it's some really insidious things that's built into this system that the Democrats will not, and to this point have not done the necessary work to change the structure that's necessary to be changed.
Mustafa.
We got 2.2 million people who are in jails, in prisons, and detention centers across our country. We know that our current system does not work. There have been plenty of studies that have shown that if we make investments into communities that help to make sure that folks never get into the prison pipeline, you get a bigger bang for that dollar than you do by locking folks up and taking away their gifts and their hope and a number of other positive dynamics. So we have a choice. We can continue to just pump dollars in, and as has been shared, there are people who want us to do that because they make huge amounts of money off that, or we can reframe our country and we can make sure that we're making the investments that are actually going to yield to positive results.
All right then, folks. Gonna go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk HBCU Connect, our segment. Got some HBCU news. Xavier becomes the first HBCU to win the national championship in a cheer contest. Spelman names a new president. That and more right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Don't forget, again, Facebook folks, YouTube folks, hit the like button, hit the share button. We should be at 1,000 likes by now, y'all. It ain't that hard. Stop asking, having a brother beg. Again, support us by downloading the Black Star Network app. If you have not done so, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV, and of course, support us with our Bring the Funk fan club, where every dollar you give goes to support this show. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Jackie, and on A Balanced Life, it takes a village to raise a child, and truer words have never been spoken. If you're raising a child, you know that it's a blessed challenge like no other. Even more so if your child has a disability. We'll talk to parents and our expert panelists about the best way forward for your child to help you maintain your own sanity on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie on Black Star Network.
We're all impacted by the culture, whether we know it or not. From politics to music and entertainment, it's a huge part of our lives, and we're going to talk about it every day right here on The Culture with me, Faraji Muhammad, only on the Black Star Network.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Nat'l.
So what's up? This is your boy Earthquake.
Hi, I'm Chaley Rose, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks. Dr. Helene Gayle, longtime CEO of the Chicago Trust, has resigned to become the 11th person to serve as president of Spelman College. She was picked by the Board of Trustees in a unanimous decision. The current president, Dr. Mary Schmidt Campbell, she is going to be retiring. Dr. Gayle, as I said, she resigned just a couple of days ago as president of the Chicago Community Trust, one of the largest community foundations in the country. Gayle says she will focus on making Spelman more affordable while trying to build on Spelman's strength in sending students into careers in medicine, science, technology, engineering, and the arts. And so certainly a congratulations to Dr. Helene Gayle as the next president of Spelman College. All right, folks, Xavier University in New Orleans, they're more known for turning out students who go into science, becoming doctors and scientists. Well, this year, they became the first HBCU ever to win a national championship in cheering. This took place, of course, in the NAIA competition. They also achieved the highest point total ever in the event's history. Joining us right now is head coach Glenn A. Caston. He joins us right now, along with cheer captains Teddy Reed, Madison Clay, Agyaman Yaboa. They join us. How y'all doing? Is that right? Is it Ya?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Don't pronounce the rest.
Oh. It's pronounced Ya Agyaman Yaboa.
Agyaman Yaboa. Got it. All right, cool. My folks did not give me the phonetic spelling like they were supposed to do. It's all good. So let's get right to it. First of all, how many folks were y'all competing against?
Whoa. So we competed against 14 other teams at the competition, but there were about 85 teams throughout our season that we saw in some type of capacity.
So so you're going through this, and so take folks through these cheer competitions. Of course, a lot of people, of course, might have seen the movie Bring It On, but just give us a sense of what y'all had to go through and endure.
Ooh, Teddy?
Well, at competitions, so for the most part, we would all walk in, we would check in at first. And then as a team, we would get ready, put our last minute, everybody would get taped up. We were all pretty much hurting at this point in the season. And then we would go into warm-ups, do our warm-up. We would have, go through our stunts, go through tumbling, jumps, pyramid. And we always made sure we had dance so that we could get our energy up before we actually went on the mat. Then this is us like in the tunnel, and that's when we would like prep each other, and we have this saying called day by day, and that's when I would get the team rallied up to make sure everybody was ready to go out there and kill it. We would make sure we gave each other our last minute, like, you got this, I know you can do this, I believe in you, and then we would go out on the mat and kill it. So that's kind of what we did every competition.
Oh, yeah. And our season starts...
Madison, what is the makeup of... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, we were just saying that our season starts really early. While we're on the mat for only 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we start preparing for this in August. So it is a long process to get to this point. While it's only a 2 minute, 30-second routine, we're really prepping and using our full year to get us ready.
So, Madison, first of all, what's the classification of this squad? Are they mostly juniors and seniors? Is it a young squad?
Very young right now, so we're only losing 3 seniors who were on the mat this year, so that's good for us. So hopefully next year we'll bring home another title. So yeah, we're a very, very young team. Teddy's graduating. They're part of my first class of scholarship athletes for cheer, so we're excited to have, all 3 of them. Oh my God, all 3 of y'all. Don't make me cry on the camera. So all 3 of them are a part of our senior program for next year. So yeah, we're going to lose a lot next year, but this year we're still solid.
So Madison, y'all, and Teddy, now, were either of you on championship winning squads in high school?
No, when I was in high school, we only had one competition at the end of the year, and we got like 3rd. So.
Yeah, I actually went to a smaller cheer gym, so we didn't have as much. We had resources, but we weren't to this level.
Right.
Yeah, I also cheered in high school and an all-star with Maddie, and we were competitive, but not as competitive as we were now. I feel like we've all seen growth since our freshman year with Coach Glenn.
And prior to this, what was the highest Xavier ever placed in a competition?
So this year, Roland, I got to tell you, we went undefeated. We went undefeated this year in our preseason and at regionals. And last year, we were also regional champions and also went undefeated throughout our season. At nationals, previously we only scored. We were 5th place last year at nationals, so we knew what we needed to do this year to come in to take the title. So we worked really, really hard, fine-tuning things. We worked really, really hard on our stunts to increase our difficulty. We're used to winning, just not at this level.
Questions for my panel. Lauren, I got a feeling you were not on the cheer squad in high school.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm on the side watching. Okay, you don't have to worry about me competing with you, I'll tell you that. I was wondering the same thing that you'd asked Roland about how well you guys had done in previous years, but also who did y'all beat this year? Who came in 2nd and 3rd?
Indiana Westland was 2nd, and then St. Ambrose, they were 3rd. So the way that it works, there's a day 1 score and a day 2 score. So day 1, we were actually in 2nd, and St. Ambrose was in 1st. And then the next day, we rose to the occasion. So they could tell you what it took to get there that night before. I made sure that we were at practice and fixing those small mistakes so that we knew that when we walked into the next day, we had a competitive edge. Legit, we were supposed to go out to dinner, and I was like, dinner's in the hotel. We are practicing tonight, so just
That's great. That's great. Thanks so much.
Yeah. It's all really close.
First of all, I go to DeMario next, and DeMario, you didn't actually play much on the football field, so you probably spent more time watching cheerleaders. So you probably have what's the question? See, DeMario, that's why you're muted.
Can you hear me now? You know.
Yeah,
we can.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Roland be hating on me because I'm an Omega and I went to play football at University of Oklahoma. We used to spank A&M all the time, so that's why he be hating on me.
No, y'all didn't. No, y'all didn't.
Hey, what's wrong with watching cheerleaders? What's wrong with watching cheerleaders? I think that's a pretty good thing to do. Listen, This is an amazing story.
It is. The point is you were not playing. But go ahead and ask your question.
See my old ring. You don't get
we have them too.
Look, we got them too.
Hey, DeMario, you see this ring? Alpha.
Let me talk to the cheerleaders, man. Let me talk to the champions. You know,
and DeMario, just so you know, tomorrow's my 35th alpha-versary. So you better go and ask your question before it get funky up in here.
See how he be doing. Let me talk to these championship women and this championship coach. I'm proud of all of y'all. Y'all bringing it home to an HBCU. That's what's up. And I like what you said, Coach. Second place, you need to get your team together. I ain't gonna ask you what you said because you can say it on TV, but I know you did what's necessary so it could come out. I'm just proud of you all. And as athletes, my wife was a cheerleader, and as an athlete, do you guys still find that people don't understand how much athleticism it takes to do what you do? And then you talked about your injuries. Do people not understand the type of injuries, the sprained ankles, the knee twist, ACLs? Talk a little bit about the sacrifice that you have to do, and it's not just about football and basketball players dealing with those type of injuries.
I would say I think a lot of people don't see it as much of a sport since it's so fun to watch, and we're smiling like other sports, right? Since it's also a performance, but we've had so many injuries. I've personally had 3 concussions, so it's a dangerous sport as well. It's just also entertaining.
Also, to add on to that, I feel like most people don't realize that cheer is never out of season. So even though we might not be competing, we're still cheering on basketball and volleyball. And when basketball's over, then we're showing up to the baseball games. So when baseball's over, then we're getting ready for our season. So there's never really an off period. And so when most people get that time to recuperate and really rest their bodies, we're still getting the routine together for the next showcase. So I feel like that really also shows how athletic we are.
Another thing is when we're at practice, when football practices, they have pads, they have shoulder pads, they have helmets. We don't have any of that. We're throwing these girls 15 feet high in the air, and they're just praying that they come down and we catch them. So we're doing all of these things, putting our bodies out there and just trusting our teammates. So that's another thing that we have to have in this sport is trust, because we don't have that much protection in terms of equipment. So we're always in the trainer. Before our practices, the whole team, it's 20 plus people in the trainer getting taped. By the end of the season, I had both my ankles taped, both my wrist taped, and my knee taped, and my back taped. So I'm I'm falling apart, but I'm gonna do it for the team.
And they train really well. So they train like football players, actually. I mean, they're weight training Tuesdays and Thursdays at the same facility that the Saints train at, So they're doing the work. So
stuff that Roland, see, this is stuff Roland don't know anything about. As us athletes, we understand that. Roland don't know anything about that.
Well, actually, since you want to open your big old mouth, I would work for the video laboratory for the Texas A&M University football team. And so I was doing what I do. And then when I was in high school, we shot all the games. We won state championship. So what you gotta understand, DeMario, see, somebody got to shoot the video for y'all to watch film so you know how you screwed up.
I didn't say you
see, check yourself. Now, and second, I play baseball. Partially. See, don't get yourself embarrassed. Mustafa, my alpha brother, ask your question.
Congratulations for being a champion. Nobody can ever take that away from you. I'm curious about the challenges you all faced throughout the year to, all that you put in to be able to get to this moment. So can you talk a little bit about how you navigated the challenges?
I can talk from the high level point, and certainly they have their internal challenges. I mean, being a first Black institution to even reach the NAIA Nationals was a big feat, right? So not only are we facing the challenges of competition and the athleticism side of it, we also are facing the isms, and we have to talk about that, So a lot of what I do at that high level is changing people's perspective of what it means to be Black in this space. As you all know, cheerleading, if you look on TV, it's not a Black-dominated sport, and for many times and many opportunities have been stripped away from Black teams, from Black athletes. So my job really at that high level is to really sell their greatness. And to tell their story at that higher level, right? We face, I'll tell you, there's lots of rules changes in cheerleading, and if anyone knows anything about cheerleading, I'll just think about it from this perspective. I'll give it to you like this: a touchdown might be worth 6 points, and if you get that field goal, it's 7, right? Well, in our season, we had the highest, as it's playing on the film, we're doing the highest level and degree of tumbling, right, that we could ever do on the mat, right? And at that point, in the middle of the season, the rules change, right? So it was rule changing, so they dummied down the score so that other teams can kind of reach what we were doing. So that's a challenge in itself, just selling that, like, hey, why would you do it if that concession was not made for...
Wait. You trying to say they would grade them on the curve?
There was a curve that existed. And no disrespect to my colleagues throughout the NAIA, but the truth is the truth that everyone knows that a layout is not the same as a full. And so that full, these athletes are working to get that highest degree. And so in our division, those layouts were weighted the same, and that was a challenge in itself. It was also a challenge to bring our institution up to speed, right? Because a lot of times when starting a new program, people don't know how great it can be. Go out and tell the story. I have to go out and say, this is our plan, and people have to be on board. I have to get all of our alumni and our staff and our administration on it. So it takes a lot of work at this level for the coaching, because it's not just going to practice and saying, okay, y'all are going to do this on this count. It's all these other components that make it work.
I think some of the other challenges we faced were, everybody's not in Louisiana, but Hurricane Ida, we did have to go through that. And a lot of people did have to go home and they had to evacuate. So we still had to try to work around that with our with practice times and things like that, and people coming back and forth. Again, the injuries, that was another challenge. And between us going back and forth, between us going back and forth with school and going home for Thanksgiving break, that was another challenge that we had. So we had to keep on pushing, even if we didn't have all the main players that we wanted to put on the mat. We still had to make sure our alternatives could fill in for us and make sure we could still get the job done, still get the routine put together so that we can execute it later. So.
Going back to what Coach Glenn said, I always tell people this all the time, like, the competitive program at Xavier is only as old as the 3 of our college careers. Like, it's only been 3 years. So everything is the first annual this, the first annual that. Like, we're literally coming up with this as we go. Like, we're learning as we go. So a lot of programs have been established for years and years, and they have protocol for everything. But there's been times where, like, we're sitting at Coach's office, like, okay, so this is the first time this happened. What do we do? And we're like, we don't know. We don't have any examples. We don't know what to do. So we're just kind of like coming up with everything as we go. So I just also attest to like a lot of different things we've had to do.
Yeah. In addition to that.
All right then. Yeah. Go ahead. Final comment. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's a lot of pushback on us being national champions from the other teams. They weren't really expecting an all-black team like us to take that, and they're not necessarily always happy with it. Mm-hmm. That's all I had to say.
And they're working to their academics, like their finals, all of it. So yes, absolutely.
Well, that's why I say hashtag team whip that ass.
Yes, sir, Mr. Roland Martin.
if you don't like the fact that all black squad beat you, well, damn it, go practice more and come back next year and see what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, this to me, this ain't hard. So, congratulations, and also y'all got the right colors. That black and gold looks real good.
Oh, jeez. We know you would say that. We know you.
You hear that, DeMario? You hear that, DeMario?
Yeah, but you wish you looked half as good as they look in it, brother. So that's all. Just remember that.
DeMario, we all look good in black and gold. Nobody look good in purple and gold. All right, Coach, I appreciate it. I certainly appreciate it. Let me thank y'all, Teddy, and Madison as well for joining us. Congratulations.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you.
All right, folks. And speaking of Xavier, their president also announced that they are going to be opening a medical school. Of course, when you talk about right now, Meharry has the only black medical school in the country, but Xavier University, they send many students to black medical schools, and so they are going to make that decision. I'm pulling it up now. Well, the announcement was recently made about Xavier doing that. And so they're planning. So what they say is Xavier wants to open their own medical school to increase diversity in the health professions. So this is a huge decision here. It was announced on Thursday as Xavier is going to establish the Graduate School of Health Sciences and Medical School. And so it's in the planning stages as we speak. It's going to be several years before the medical school is ready to train future physicians. And so certainly that is absolutely a great thing by Xavier there in Louisiana. All right, folks, going to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk, of course, our Black and Missing. We'll talk about some prison guards who have now been indicted. Again, folks, this is the kind of thing that you're seeing the Department of Justice is doing, going after these rogue correctional officers all across the country. Folks, don't forget, if you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook, hit the like and the share button. If you want to support us in what we do, also download the Black Star Network app. Of course, we're trying to hit 50,000 downloads by May 1st. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Also, please, you can join us by supporting us with our Bring the Funk fan club, where every dollar you give goes to support this show. I'm in Las Vegas today for the National Association of Broadcasters, looking for some new equipment for our studio. I'm going to be in Los Angeles tomorrow. We're going to be broadcasting live from LA for the 30th anniversary of the Rodney King riots. And so you want to send a check or a money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
When I first moved to LA, me and Joe lived together, right? And that was a big blessing because I didn't have to worry about paying rent. You know, out here struggling, doing my thing, and that was a big help. And then when I moved out, I think that's when I saw the division, because I think Joe felt like I didn't need him anymore. And it wasn't that. It was like, I'm a grown-ass man, two grown-ass men.
But actually, that is true. You don't need him anymore.
Right.
When you grow up, first of all, when you grow up, it's like, hey, you help. And this time you get your ass out the house and go do your own thing.
Right. He didn't want me to move out. But I'm like, you know what? At the time when I moved out.
I mean, what? Were you paying a light bill?
I wasn't paying anything. And I said, you know what? I need this responsibility. It's going to make me work harder in my career if I know I got rent to pay, I got bills to pay. I was paying a cell phone bill, that was it.
Right.
No, but Joe was treating me like a little butler. Because I'm telling you, I was like Benson. I'm telling you, man.
Please fetch me some water.
He was using Jedi mind tricks. Yo, man, you still make them good grilled cheese sandwiches you made when you was little? No, you don't. Next thing I'm at the stove. Flipped it. And then it dawned on me, he tricked me again. Got me again. read about it in history, you know, you talk about it, you see it on our side, you know, of the United States, but to actually come here and see where this story of slavery started, and connecting the dots, it's just a wow factor for me right now.
Dark inside. You might not see too much, but you're gonna feel everything.
Just imagine to see prisons in the yard in the United States.
A lot of us get your real time. What is required in 2019, going into 2020, essentially for us to be reprogrammed. What they taught us needs to be removed and extracted.
It just doesn't make sense that the richest continent in the world should be inhabited by the poorest people in the world.
Part of that is by design. Self-hate is a very tragic part of our whole existence. And I'm not blaming anybody for it, but if you look at most characterizations of being of African descent in the world, it's with these kind of tags.
I always say, you're going to do a lot of shopping. They go, oh, I don't think so. And then they come, so they brought limited reserves, and then they spend all the time running to the ATM because they see all these clothes they want and fabric they want. It's overwhelming. I've been here for 8 years, and I'm still taking pictures out of my car because it's a feast for the eyes on any given day.
The kind of opportunities you have in Africa, you don't have those in America. The kind of money that you can make in Africa, very few of you would have that opportunity to do that in America. Cordy, who was working for the Congress in the United States, she has started a waste management company. She's the #1 here in Ghana now. She looked at
dollar signs in trash.
There it is.
Used to be jeans.
Used to be jeans.
Is now a huge rush.
In Ghana alone, we have a 2 million unit deficit in housing.
2 million.
2 million.
Seven of the 10 fastest growing economies right now are African nations. Why in the world would we not be trying to figure out how to connect? Because the Lebanese are, the Chinese are, everybody else is doing it. We will be crazy to do it. And it's with people who look like us. We will be crazy to do it, crazy to do it, crazy to do it.
What's up? I'm Dr. Ricky Dillard, the choir master.
Hi, I'm Amber Stevens-West from The Carmichael Show.
Hi, my name is Latoya Luckett, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Anita Hill Maynard has been missing from Kansas City, Missouri since April 18, 2022. She's 5 feet 3 inches tall, weighs 150 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information about Anita Hill Maynard should call the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department at 816-234-5111. Again, that is 816-234-5111. 5111. So again, Anita Hill Maynard has been missing since April 18th. All right, folks. A judge has thrown out 44 more convictions tied to a notorious Chicago sergeant who regularly framed people for drug crimes they did not commit. More than 170 black defendants have seen their drug convictions in cases tied to former Sergeant Ronald Watts and his tactical unit get dismissed. Watts and another officer pleaded guilty in 2013 to stealing money from an FBI informant. Watts received a 22-month prison sentence. Now, here's what's funny, Mustafa. We always hear these folks talk about, oh, respect the blue lives matter. You look at this thuggish cop There was a police officer in Baltimore who was on the stand a few weeks ago who talked about how they were shaking folks down and stealing money from drug folks, just notorious. So you notice you never hear the FOP, all the folks blue, saying anything about thug cops like this.
Did nothing but crickets after they've ruined people's lives. Think about all those folks who were innocent, all those years that they lost with their families and being able to be in a job and being able to build wealth for both themselves and their families and their communities that was taken away by someone who told lies to garner their own wealth from individuals. So, 22 months for doing all that damage. I mean, I don't care if you're black, white, whatever color you might be. You deserve to spend a significant amount of time for all the damage and trauma that you created by the actions that you intentionally did.
Lauren, again, when we hear these cases, all the people, that's an aberration. This goes to the police mistrust, to have this cop literally framing people.
Absolutely. I can't imagine that there wouldn't be a massive class action of some type and people suing for civil damages on that. Probably going on for obviously over a decade or so. It is a really amazing thing what these states get away with and what some of these jurisdictions get away with regard to damaging an individual's life many years over and sometimes decades. We see a story, every few weeks of somebody who's been in jail wrongfully convicted. And then many of these states have set up situations where they are under no obligation to in any way make any of those people whole. And it is outrageous. And of course, many of those individuals are black men. And so somehow or another, they're able to get away with this. I have absolutely no idea how they're able to get away with it. They should be sued, the department should be sued, the city should be sued, and everybody else that was involved for damage. And those damages would be well into the millions. I'm sure DeMario can speak on this a lot better than I can, but it is outrageous.
DeMario, it's crazy to read this story and see the kind of damage that this thug cop inflicted in his tactical unit inflicted on people.
Yeah, and Sister Lauren, I'll tell you how they can continue to get away with it, because again, the Department of Justice allows it. As we talked about earlier, and we talk about every week, the federal government is abrogating its responsibility to protect us from these type of police departments. And when I say these type of police departments, this is the model from around the country. Believe me, this is not an aberration. This is not a bad apple. The system is bad. It's a corrupt system. It's built out of slave catchers, and it rewards this type of behavior. It rewards and protects these type of officers. I see it each and every day. People having their lives destroyed, people being put in jail, losing their jobs, or just complete BS. I would say something stronger, but I'm trying to be cool. And I want to say another thing. This is another example. I say this all the time. I'm a broken record on this. People say, oh, we need more black cops. We need more. It does not matter the color. It's not about color. It's about culture. And the culture of the police departments is corruption, discrimination, and racism. And most of the time, these black cops, they fall right into that culture. Either they start doing the same things as their white counterparts because they want to move up, or they're too weak to stop and fight hard against it and call these people out. This is a travesty. 22 months, that makes me sick to my stomach. This individual should be in jail for the cumulative amount of time he put individuals in jail. And yes, there will be lawsuits, but those lawsuits will be pennies on a dollar when you're talking about time in prison, time away from your family, time away from your career, and just time locked up. It's ridiculous. It's outrageous. And I'm, again, calling on the Biden administration and Department of Justice to do their job quicker, faster, more aggressively, more efficiently.
Folks, let's now go to Alabama, where a former Alabama prison officer has been indicted on federal charges of assaulting 3 inmates and then submitting a false statement after the incident. Lorenzo Mills is accused of hitting inmates with a wooden baton in October 2020. Mills is also charged with making false written statements. He is facing a statutory maximum sentence of 10 years in prison for each civil rights charge and 20 years in prison for the obstruction of justice offense. This is the thing here, DeMario. We often talk about law enforcement and police abuse. And we are seeing now with Kristen Clark leading the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, just so many cases of violence being committed against people by corrections officers.
Yeah, again, I have a lot of experience in this, representing individuals who've been killed in jail or their families and beaten in jail, and also understanding it from a state level of funding. So I'll say here in Oklahoma, for example, you're talking about people in the jails who usually come from these small towns where they place these jails to prop up these small white towns, their economies, by putting these jails in there, putting black folks and poor folks in these prisons. And then you can just have a high school, basically 18 years old, 20 years old, and you become a prison guard in some of the worst locations in America. It's outrageous, and again, it's ridiculous. And the Department of Justice is doing some things, but again, they're not doing enough. I think last week, the Department of Justice announced that they were finding that prison down in Mississippi, I think it's Parchman Prison, was going to say Parchman was a violation of civil rights. Well, it took them 3 years to make that determination when 3 years ago, 8 or 9 people got killed in a span of like 10 days. It should not take that long for the Department of Justice to come in and do a proper investigation and shut these prisons down. It should not take years and years and years. It should be much, much faster. They should ask for much more money. They need to more than double the staff at the Department of Justice, and they need to do what they can do, what the law allows them to do. I am dealing with them right now on some cases, asking them to do some things that they just dragging their feet. I have a call tomorrow, in fact, on the issue where it's just been dragging their feet. So they need to move faster. People's lives are at risk. People's liberty are at risk, and it's destroying black people.
Mustafa?
I mean, the physical abuse that happens inside of prisons and jails is just, there's an epidemic that goes on. I've worked with some folks and I've talked to others, we don't do enough about it. There are over 390,000 correctional officers across our country. Imagine that. And yet we only hear about a handful of these types of egregious actions that happen every year. And it's because of great attorneys like the one that we have on the panel and others who are willing to lean in and continue to push and fight. But if we know we've got close to 400,000 officers that are out there in the correctional space, then we know there have to be even more folks who are dealing with this type of physical abuse, mental abuse, and a number of other things that happen inside of our prisons and jails. So we need, as has been said, we've got to have a whole lot more folks who are at the Department of Justice and also on the state level. They need to build out more accountability in this process, or folks are going to continue to have a silent voice. It's hard for them to get traction, to be able to get people to pay attention to what's going on inside of these jail cells and these prison cells.
Indeed. And so part of the problem that we have is that there's this whole idea for a lot of these people that, look, they're inmates, who cares? They don't actually deserve to be treated with dignity. That's part of the problem, Lauren.
Yeah, that's a huge part of the problem. I've heard a lot about this as I was growing up because my father, in fact, was a CO at Rikers Island and the Brooklyn House of Detention. And his overtime put me through college. The stories he used to tell were fairly frightening, to say the least. He was a prison guard for 20 years. So it was what you would expect. I still cannot believe that from the time I was a little kid to right now that Rikers Island is still open. As was discussed earlier, the United States leads the world in the rate of incarceration. We have, over 2 million people who are in the system in some way, shape, or form. And this is all about money at the end of the day. Like most things that we can't get rid of, that we should get rid of on a moral level, it's all about money. Incarceration is about money. Putting those people through the system is about money. And what upsets that apple cart of not having those people going through that system is, the police salaries. And as somebody who's got a few relatives in the law enforcement space in New York and in Virginia, I can tell you that, their pensions, all of that is just a round and round wheel of money and support base for everybody who's making that money, not just for small towns, but certainly for small towns, small white towns in rural parts of the United States, but in big cities. And this thing that we have with incarceration, how we haven't been hit as a country with some sort of international human rights violation from The Hague, I have absolutely no idea. Because we hear these stories all the time. We know they're going on. We know that there's nobody looking into it. We know DOJ is not looking into it. And yes, there is in fact this attitude that these people are in jail, they don't matter. But see, if we were talking about some other country, Russia or China, we would be acting holier than thou. But we have a massive problem in the United States with how we think about people we incarcerate and the fact that this is all about cash.
Lauren, that is so on point. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry, Roland.
No, DeMar, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Lauren, you were so on point when you said we talk about other countries. Everybody talking about, our democracy and human rights. America doesn't believe in human rights, particularly of black people. America doesn't believe in democracy, particularly for black people. And this is a great example of it. Right here in Oklahoma, we lock up more people, more women than any place else in the world in Oklahoma. And we do it each and every day. And again, it is all about money. And it's all about, when I say the DOJ can do more, here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma County Jail is one of the most notorious. It's like a Rikers Island. 10, 12, 15, 20 people die there every year. I had a case where a client of mine, the prison guards set him up to get beat up by a rival gang, and they killed him. And once we dug into that case, we found that since 1995, the DOJ has been documenting the civil rights abuses in that jail, where the jails don't even lock, where they're eating, feces is backing up into the jail cells, where they're eating, they don't have a functional kitchen. They have to feed them out of the just transports. It's ridiculous. And guess what? That's a jail. These people are not convicted. These people have just been charged with a crime. And guess what? Most of those people are there because they're poor. They can't pay the bail to get out of jail. So these individuals are being deprived of their civil rights. The Department of Justice have known this since 1995, yet they won't shut that jail down. That jail is still ongoing today. People are still dying in that jail today, just like Rikers Island, and it's a travesty. This is why I'm so hard on the Department of Justice and the federal government. It is the federal government that has to move in, utilize its awesome powers, stop sending, well, I'm gonna say stop sending. If you can send billions of dollars to Ukraine, and you can jump to the forefront to protect Ukraine, well, damn it, we need you to spend billions of dollars on our communities right here because you're the one destroying them. Jump to the forefront for our people because we built this country and we deserve it, and we're taxpayers today. That's my position.
All right, folks, let's talk about this case out of California where the ACLU of Northern California, they're filing a lawsuit against the Oakland Unified School District, claiming the district's new school closure plan disproportionately discriminates against black and brown students. The school board intends to close 7 schools and merge 2 others. At least at 4 of those schools, the population is over 50% black. The ACLU says the plan will harm black students with special needs and violates black students' fundamental right to equal educational opportunity under the California Constitution and discriminates based upon race. And so we'll see what happens with that particular story. All right, folks, in today's in memoriam, longtime saxophonist for Earth, Wind & Fire, Andrew Woolfolk, has passed away. He was one of the original members of Earth, Wind & Fire through the historic run. The veteran musician who joined Earth, Wind & Fire in 1972 passed away Sunday after battling a long illness. He was with Earth, Wind & Fire through their most formative and influential years in music and contributed to some of their biggest hits, including September. Andrew Woolfolk is an ancestor at the age of 71. All right, folks, when we come back, we will have our marketplace segment where we focus on black businesses. A black undergarment company. Oh, y'all wear underwear. Might as well support a black-owned company that makes the undergarments. We'll talk to them next. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, financial literacy. Without it, wealth is just a pipe dream. And yet, half of our schools in this country don't even teach it to our kids. You're going to hear from a woman who's determined to change all that, not only here, but around the world.
World of Money is the leading provider of immersive financial education for children ages 7 to 18. We provide 120 online and classroom hours of financial education.
That's right here on Get Wealthy on Black Star Network.
This week on The Black Table with me, Greg Carr, reparations. Is it finally time? Two of the country's foremost authorities on the subject will join me to try to answer that very question. A powerful installment of The Black Table with me, Greg Carr, right here, only on the Black Star Network.
This is Judge Mathis.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mac Wild.
All right, folks, every Tuesday we focus on Black-owned businesses in our marketplace segment. And today we're talking about a Black undergarment company called Aurora, DC. They are an athleisure brand that touts inclusivity for all genders, sizes, and ages. Thomas Butler, he is the owner of Aurora, DC, and he joins us from Washington, DC. Glad to have you on the show. So first of all, what is the name Aurora, DC?
Actually, it's called Aurora. The DC, you know, back in the day, you used to have DKNY, and they have DC, they used to have NY in the corner. That's basically what the Aurora DC stands for. So it's basically just Aurora, what it was the meaning of this, the name of it.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. Just want to know that.
And appreciate you having me on the show.
Were you in the business? Were you in the business? Were you on the retail side? What caused you to say, you know what? I think I can own my own athleisure company, making undergarments?
Basically, where I'm from, a lot of people have their own clothing line, like they have hoodies and stuff like that. And I noticed that as a Black person, nobody, I don't see too many of undergarments all around. I see a lot of clothing lines and stuff like that. And I decided I always like to be different. So I decided to, jump out there and start my own clothing, my undergarment line.
How long you had it?
Well, it took me actually 6 months. I had it for almost like a year and a half, but it took me 6 months to actually get the right material, the right styles and stuff to each stuff. Because like when you brand underwear, you got to make sure that it's comfortable for everybody, not just for yourself. So I had to do a lot of test runs, and it took me about 6 months because I get it from overseas, and it takes a long time for to get all the stuff here on time.
All right, then. How have your sales been since you launched?
Good. I'm just looking for more sales. Because once they get a hold of it and they get the material, they always buy one. Then once they buy one, you see them, they coming right back. They buying two, they buying three. So it's just all about just getting it out there to people. And once they get it, they just gravitate to it. Sales doing good. Sales actually doing real good. They can do better. They doing good though.
So, well, obviously we all want sales to do better. How many employees do you have in Aurora, DC?
Me. I'm the only one.
Just you?
That's me. I'm doing everything. I just bought me a camera for like $1,500. I'm about to start doing a lot of my photography work for my company as well.
So in terms of, how are you handling your marketing? How are you handling your sales? How are you handling all of that?
I do a lot of, I target a lot of people that's influenced into the community and stuff like that. I actually have a lot of friends that play in the NFL and the NBA, so I'm reaching out to them, get them just to do a lot of, quick little photos and put it on their pages or their social media. I'm also right now, I'm talking to a marketing team right now to help me boost up my sales and boost up my Instagram and my website as well. So I'm in talk with them. I'm also looking for just different marketing streams and strategies just to get it out there.
Questions for my panel. Let me first go to DeMario.
I can't hear you.
DeMario, stop hitting your mute button.
I don't know why.
If you will make us learn how to use technology.
Hey, brother, where are you located?
Washington, D.C.
Okay, so you're in D.C. And when you said you were, I was just kind of interested when you were saying, hey, it took me 6 months to figure it out. Were you like trying on different pairs of drawers and they were like, this is too scratchy. This ain't this.
Nah, I got a lot of friends, and what I did was I got a lot of samples from the vendors I got. You know, I gave them out to my friends, and you know, I'm the type of person, I love constructive criticism. So like, if you tell me you don't like it and it's this and that, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and make sure it's perfect. So it took me actually 6 months to get, you know, the designs. It was nothing. The designs was easy, but it took me at least about 6 months just to get the proper brand, the branding, the stitching, and all that stuff like that, the material. But when I got it, it's good. It's good to go now.
But what was there anything in particular about like a pair of underwear? I'm being very serious here.
Yeah,
People
because basically, like guys, like, you know, older guys, they don't like the polyester spandex. They like the cotton. They used to the cotton. So my brand, I have both. I have the cotton spandex kind that's good and it's breathable, because when you're wearing drawers and you wearing it all day, you want to be comfortable. You don't want to be sweating and your jaw's too tight or it's too loose. You want to be able to move around all day. And with my underwear, you can do that. They breathable. You can wear them all day. I have polyester spandex, and I also have cotton spandex. So you can take your pick. If you don't like the, you know, the smooth feel with it, and you old school, you can have the cotton ones.
You want the fruit? So they want the old Fruit of the Loom look. They want the old tidy whities.
They like some of them. I wear both. I wear the cotton ones. I wear my stuff now. Like I wear everything I have. I wear my own stuff. My socks, and my undergarments. So everything I have is comfortable. Like I said, it took me 6 months to get everything right, and it was worth it though. I didn't rush it because I didn't want to have a product come out and I'm trying to target a certain area and to target certain people, and my product is not good enough with the rest of the competitive that's out there. So if I'm trying to come out there and take over, I got to make sure my stuff is good.
Word up. Appreciate you, bro. Good luck.
In terms of your distribution, how are you handling that? Do you have a company that handles that in terms of when orders are placed and being shipped out?
Yeah, I actually do that myself. I turn it around a little bit. You can see I have orders right there that I have to put out right now. I have a website where everything comes on my website. So when the orders come in, I go in, get the orders, go to the post office and send it off.
All right. Next question for Lauren. Lauren?
Hey, how are you?
How you doing today?
Tom, this is very exciting. I've got two T-shirt, hoodie businesses, both drop ship. I know what you mean when you say you got to order the stuff to see how it is from specific vendors to check before you go forward, because you just don't know until you get it.
Correct.
But what really impresses me here is that the niche that you're in is like such a good one. It's such a good one because most people do T-shirts, they do hoodies, they do mugs.
They scared of this. They scared of what I'm doing right now. They don't want to do what I'm doing. They don't like it. It takes time. It takes time.
Yeah. And so what you're doing is great niche. And the designs that I saw were really cool too. So that's hot. That's really good.
Thank you.
You know, there's a Butler family in DC that goes way back. They're like the first. They owned something that was huge. Black Butlers. I bet you're related to them. But anyway,
I need to look it up because they might owe me something. They might owe me something. I need to look it up.
Yeah, I'll send you a note to the website or something. But anyway, keep on trucking because that's good stuff. That's a really good niche. Very nice.
Thank you.
Mustafa.
Yeah, but Thomas, thank you for representing for the home team. Really appreciate you. I don't know what part of the city you're in. I'm on the south side, but
I'm uptown, but we all together.
There is one love, most definitely. Yo, I'm curious. Two things real quick. One, what your vision is for the business. So, if, a year from now, what do you hope to have been able to accomplish? And then do you have top sellers that you want to, that you can kind of call out for folk? What's like some of your number one sellers right now?
That's good. Basically, I never even told y'all the meaning of Aurora. So I'm going to give y'all the meaning and break it down. Basically, the Aurora is like the colorful light in the sky that caused by the sun. that's particles that causes a certain type of gas that interact with each other that basically cause the beautiful, the beautiful color of the greenish and the basically the DC ones, the ones that if they can see it is joined up, it's green and like bluish. And those are the DC ones. Those are like the top selling ones because of where I'm from. Then I have the Phoenix ones, which are the red ones. Yep, there you go, right there. Those are the top selling ones because of where I'm, DC. But everybody, it's a district, so you got the Capitol, the White House on there, so everybody gonna want that anyway. All of them are top sellers. The Flames is good. What's called the Phoenix. The mythical ones, those are my favorite ones. The mythical ones and the Phoenix ones are my favorite ones. And then you have the Blue Flames, which is the blue and black ones. Those are the female sets that's showing right now. And those are a high commodity as well. Those are the cheetah print ones. There you go, right there. That's the Aurora print. Those are high selling ones as well. The crazy part is I already sold out. I had to reorder more. So I already sold out and I had to reorder more. So basically when I get back to what you were saying in the future, I want to start a program which is called Be a Light. Basically, since the Aurora is a colorful light show in the sky that's caused by the sun, I want to be able to, anytime I'm interacting with anybody or they interact with the underwear, I want them to share light with them, to share a positive message with them, to keep going, to keep thinking positive and stuff like that. So I also already have something that I'm going on right now that I've been giving back to the community. I have a back to school program that I've already been doing. But now that I have the underwear line going on, I want to start doing things for the homeless and the less needed.
All right, then. Well, look, I appreciate it. Tell people where to go, where to shop.
You got to shop at Shop Aurora, www.shopaurora.com, shopaurora.dc.com. If you don't have my Instagram, it's the same thing as Shop Aurora DC. You can find me there. The website going crazy. It's going crazy right now while I'm on the phone. It's easy to shop. It's not hard. Basically, the stuff fits. Everything fits. Everything fits.
All right. I certainly appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, folks. That is it for me. I've got to go back, hit the floor of the National Association of Broadcasters. I leave tomorrow from L.A., and so we're looking at a variety of things to improve with audio stuff, teleprompter, video, lights, all kind of stuff at the National Association of Broadcasters exhibit floor. And so I appreciate it. Mustafa, my alpha brother, Long Victoria Burke, thanks a bunch. And, of course, the poor soul, DeMario, who's with that youth group. You know the name of it that I shall not name. It's not gonna happen. I don't know. That's called the fly away signal. That's what that is.
See you later this week talking.
That's what that is. Tomorrow, y'all. What?
I said I'll see you later this week talking Justice for Greenwood, our upcoming lawsuit. We'll talk about it later this week.
No, we're not. I can only tolerate you once a week. All right, y'all. I will see y'all from Los Angeles tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow's my 35th Alphaversary, and so y'all know it's going to be all 06 tomorrow. You know how we do it. All right, folks, don't forget to support us in what we do. Download the Black Star Network app. Of course, available on all platforms: Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, and Samsung Smart TV. And be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club, where every dollar you give goes to support this show. Send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland@RolandSMartin.com. Roland@RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Don't forget also, you can go back and watch the show, the Black Star Network app. And you can also download our podcast from the iHeartRadio Network podcast, from their podcast network. So download the Roland Martin Unfiltered podcast as well. And so, we are on all these platforms. Y'all know how we do it. Ain't nobody else doing what we do. And so we got some great things lined up, and I can't wait to be able to unveil those things to you. So again, I appreciate it, folks. I'll see you tomorrow right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Ho!
Sports.